welcome to Cage Chronicles. How we doing, guys?
I'm good. How you going, James?
G'day, mates.
You
I'm good, yeah.
Back again, ready for another killer podcast.
We've moved the seating arrangements so James doesn't fall asleep in the middle. That was a bit annoying.
When you fly as high as I do, sometimes you have to come down to land.
If you just want to let everyone in the loop for a second. So you were like nearly falling asleep during the last one, but then all of a sudden just came back to life again.
Yeah, I zoned out in the last one, and then I saw Robin laughing at me because I was like literally about to go under the table, and then came back to life with some good stories. Some
good. You just had a nap or something, hadn't you?
Yeah, had a nap. No, I don't get to. I don't get to have naps.
Did you get to nap today? What did you do
no,
today?
I didn't get to. I've just come straight from the gym again.
Nice.
I'm just doing payments, reception work.
Yeah.
Locking up. Yeah.
Wow, you
locking up.
Whoa.
Takes forever.
Hectic, gotta turn the keys and stuff, lights off. And
Yeah.
everything. And then you come here straight away.
Yeah.
Nice. Did you?
He just goes home and practices paving. He just loves paving.
I hate paving.
What did you teach in jiu-jitsu tonight?
We did the truck.
The truck.
Yeah.
Truck.
Yeah,
Sounds like an invigorating class. What did
yeah,
you
we
do?
did the truck. So from 3/4 mount, roll to the truck, and then attack.
Continue.
And then roll attacking calf slices, and then also rolling through and taking them back. Oh, and we did a bit on the banana split and the crutch ripper.
And the
crutch ripper.
Say one more time. The crutch ripper.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Were you doing calf slices from
the truck?
From the
I just
truck?
said that. Yeah, I said that before.
I'm trying to figure out where the truck is. So explain the truck to me.
The truck's like
I can't believe I don't know
it's hard
what
to
this
explain. It's like you're like laying on your back, they're laying on their back, but you're like a T shape.
Yeah.
So you've got your leg like hooked through their leg.
Yeah.
And then you're holding their other leg like close to you. That's like the truck. So
Okay.
you can get there from turtle.
Yeah.
Like instead of going to the upper body, you can go to the legs and like roll into the truck.
Oh,
If
okay.
they're in turtle,
Yeah.
you can roll to the truck.
Yeah.
Or if you're
Yeah.
in like 3/4 mount, you can like, I think some people call it's called the truck roll, or some people call it samurai roll.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that.
Roll, and you can go all the way through to the back. You just drag them around, grab the hip tag, but you can stop in the truck.
I
Yeah.
never
you
know
got
the names to anything.
Yeah,
Crutch
I've struggled
ripper,
with the name,
banana
yeah.
All the new
split,
ones.
calf slices,
Yeah.
toe hold, aoki lock.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot of lads
Yeah,
ask me, "Go, how do you do this certain thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. You have to
Yeah.
show me." When they show me, "Oh, it's this. I know it is this."
I've found that, because when Michael Morecambe was teaching, he didn't know the names to anything.
Yeah.
And so I'd be like, what's
But
this
I think
called?
it's all these new names and stuff.
Well, yeah. And he was just like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, I get that too. I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, you can have the name for every single little thing. It like literally doesn't matter. It's like, if you know how to do it, whatever, call it whatever you want. 1A, 2A, 6.
Yeah, if it works, it works.
But I found that once I started coaching,
yeah.
I had to start
Having
using names for everything. Because
you have to know if you're teaching something and then you're in competition and then you're shouting it out, they're gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
There's so many new names for stuff.
Yeah.
And they've got like older names, and it's like I don't know what the new name is. So.
Yeah.
So when they change
Yeah,
the names, like when we went to I think it was John Will's seminar, and remember he was teaching headquarters, and he was saying that Higa Machado, when Higa Machado was teaching John Will, headquarters was called Ride the Pony. Yeah, that's way better than headquarters. We should have kept Ride the Pony.
Yeah.
So I caught. So sometimes, like Saddle has like 5 different names.
Yeah.
Right? And it gets so confusing. But it's like you just got to, like, you call it Saddle, so I call it Saddle. So it's like then that's easy now. I just stick with that. I don't call it the other names, and then everyone kind of knows what you're talking about. Yeah. Sometimes if something's got a couple of names, I'll pick the cooler sounding name.
100%. You've got to. Yeah.
You got to pick the better name.
That was like, I think it's pretty funny because at the end of the day, if it works, it works. Like sometimes you can have 20 different names for like a single move, but having like a standard kind of baseline, like it's almost like a language, hey, like being able to going back to this one word and then you know the position. But because it gets so intricate like that, you've caught me out with this before. He was like, just go and get like a ham and cheese choke.
Yeah,
He said that to you, and
I remember you guys.
And I thought it was an actual thing, and I was like, and then he's just taking the piss. It's not an actual thing, but
I found like after coaching and then like you just coaching so much jiu-jitsu, at first I was like, oh my God, all these names for everything is so annoying. Like people will be coming to me like from YouTube and Instagram and they're like, oh James, how do I do like a ham and cheese toasty or whatever? And you're just like, what do you like? There is a move called the ham sandwich. So, but it's like all these things. And I was like, man, you guys are hell annoying. Like show me. Oh yeah, okay, this is how you do it. And then I was like, it's just going to be easier to start putting everything with a name. Yeah. And then you can literally be like, you just compartmentalize everything. Yeah. Like this is 3/4 mount. Now we're going for the truck roll or whatever. Yeah. Like now this is the truck. This is the banana. And then if people start coming to me asking questions as well with names, it's like you can pinpoint exactly what people are talking about.
I had it wrong. Do you know a wizard?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was a wizard.
Yeah.
For 8 years, 9 years, and I swear down, this is so embarrassing. Ren said it to me. She was like, "Are you saying wizard?" And I was like, in the middle of an MMA.
So Ren knew and you didn't know.
Yeah, in the middle of an MMA fundamental class, I was teaching. I was like, "And you get the wizard," and in the middle of the class, she was like, "Are you saying wizard?"
So good.
And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "It's a wizard," and I full on got on my high horse. I was like, "No, it's not." Like, what are you on about?
So good.
And I got proved wrong in front of
everyone. Wizard would be better.
Wizard's cool.
Yeah,
would be
I was
better.
like, get the wizard. Like, it's just it was such a normal thing for me. And then I looked it up, and it's like wizard. Like, what even is a wizard?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Like there's one choke I've been trying to find a good name for. I can't find this choke. And it's like a rear loop choke, but when you trap the arm and then you put your arm behind the head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it's like I call it like a hanger choke or something. So it's like you're hanging.
Yeah.
I've heard it called something better, but I've forgotten it.
Yeah.
And then Darren came to me the other night and he said, "Oh, that's called a single wing choke."
Yeah.
The guy that invented it or whatever calls it a single wing. Yeah. And I was like, nah, don't like it. I'm not going to call it that. So I was like, I need something better. I'm still going to, I was like, even though he invented it and made the move up, I was like, maybe call it the bat wing or the night wing. Like, I need something like,
it was a submission I was like looking at back in the day, and I didn't see anyone do it before. It's a variation on a Kimura. I hadn't seen anyone do it. This is before the internet was like really big or anything. Yeah. And I was like, and everyone was like, what's that called? I was like, it's called the Waltonator. The Waltonator. And I was calling that for ages. And then I was watching a video one day and I seen someone do it. I was like, damn. Like, it didn't make it up.
So what was it called?
I have no clue. I didn't tell the clue.
And they were like, today we're going to teach the Waltonator. So I was like, what?
But nothing can beat Ren's toe hold though.
Toe hold.
When she did the toe hold. So she thought a toe hold was like you just grab like the big toe, and then like try and just like attack the toe. That was so funny. It's some of those things that's annoying. Like you think, I mean, I guess the toe hold you're kind of like grabbing the toes, but it's like you're attacking the foot. Like a heel hook attacks the knee. Like
I always got frustrated by that.
But the attacking point's the heel.
Yeah, but I think it makes people think like you're trying to like. You're like they really put the emphasis on trying to like hurt the heel or something, where it's like no, it's actually like the damage is sort of being like mostly being done up at the knee there. So I think some things like that can be confusing. Yeah.
So, about a big week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I've got a few big weeks. So we talked about Ascension from the 2 weeks ago, and then obviously this last weekend has been pretty full on. You had your first pro boxing fight.
I
did.
Sam fought on Battlegrounds, and then Aldin fought for the Hex title. So we were in Perth, and then I was flying over to Melbourne. It was a bit of a crazy weekend. Do you want to talk about your boxing fight and then how that went?
Easy, yeah. So what do you reckon I should chat about first, though?
Just what I wouldn't mind thinking about what you thought of the training. What was the training like and compared to the MMA, and then obviously the actual fight itself. And then compare it to how it was competing in MMA, maybe with the physicality of it and the skill sets and stuff.
Yeah, cool. I think essentially from a training point of view, very, very different experience. Like I'm used to kind of like smashing, like if you think about it, like your whole body, obviously you got your striking, you got your kicks, you got your grappling, your jiu-jitsu, your wrestling. When you train for MMA, I would be like really fatigued and run down like my whole body throughout the week, trying to hit a little bit of everything and grind through like that. This was very, very weird because it was like I was just smashing my arms and like my high intensity cardio the whole time. So it was like I would like constantly just be burning out from like in my head the same things because I couldn't just like spend a day doing kicks and stuff or grappling. It was like every time that I was coming in, I was still having to throw punches, use my hands. If it's head work and like foot movement, even all those kind of things, like it's just a different intensity. So the training side of it, like I really, really enjoyed over the course of like the 8-10 weeks, getting my hands really, really sharp, getting that fitness up there. But then I also just found like it's also hard to know when to like change from sparring and stuff to pads because like you get hit a lot in the head with all the boxing like throughout the weeks of the training, and you don't want to go heavy sparring like too many times in a week. So trying to like pick, okay, what days am I gonna go like sparring, what days am I going to hit pads, when am I going to get what type of training in. But from that side, it was really, really fun. And then even being on the boxing scene, actually competing, that was like a really, really fun experience going out, fighting in Metro. I absolutely loved it. Wicked crowd. And yeah, it was just sick. 4 rounds, 4 3-minute rounds.
Yeah.
Good pace. And it was a wicked fight that came out of my opponent, Tio, as well. He was really, really slick boxing. So I feel like he just really made that an epic fight as well.
Because at any point he was dangerous. Like I think you put the pace on him, you like landed like massive shots on him and stuff, and you were put like outworking him. Like, but then when he'd land that uppercut, or he'd land that body rip, it was always dangerous. Like could like ring your bell, you know. Yeah,
he did. He caught me because I was trying to push the pace in the pocket a lot more and try being like nice and tight because that's what I'd been working with Steve. And then it was a couple times in the pocket though I didn't have my head off. And he like threw a wicked uppercut, popped my chin up, a couple of shots that like kind of dazed me a little bit. But I feel like the game plan worked. Like just kept pushing that pace. It was really good when I was angling off, being able to land those shots in tight. But yeah, no,
you're switching stance, moving your head off to the side, like landing, especially in the 3rd and 4th round. You really, as he was like slowing slightly, you were increasing, and then your head started moving off. So you wasn't landing that uppercut anymore. I think it was just a great experience, you know, like especially to get you in a different, especially after the injury, get back in the ring, and then hopefully get you back to MMA on the next one.
I was gonna say that was the main thing, even to be able to compete like after having like such a serious injury. It was like so wicked to like get that feeling again, the butterflies, jumping back in, fighting a good opponent, still a wicked show. But then like heaps of motivation off of that one now. Yeah. And then I'm just super excited. Like I've had a little bit of a week, just like rest and recover a bit, but get back in the gym, smash it out, and hopefully make that MMA return in this year.
Yeah, really, really cool. Maybe like June time.
Yeah, June time. Yeah, back on a Eternal or see whatever pops up. Or make that return to the cage.
Was is that the full fight then? 4 3-minute rounds.
This boxing one, yeah.
When does it go? Does it go like incrementally up? Because don't you have like 12 rounds?
I think more experience, you can get to like that 6 rounds, to get to 10 rounds and stuff like that. No, I think it's just we said we'd go with the 4 3s.
Yeah, so like after you've had like sort of like more
more experience,
then you start to go up in the rounds, right?
Yeah,
a bit of an open discussion sometimes, hey, because like we weren't too sure how many rounds we were going to go, and then
4 3s was good, especially for your first one.
Yeah, do you feel like in your head right now thinking about doing 12, say, because that's like what like the top tier guys do, don't they? 12 is it? Yeah. Like, are you right now going like, if I was like you had to do another 8? Yeah. Would you be like, whoa, like that's a lot?
It's actually interesting because when I was saying I had so much fun, like it was very different intensity compared to MMA. If you do MMA, sometimes your energy is sapped because you're going from poppy shots, fast reactive striking to like slow, isometric, strong grappling, like controlling positions, and that can really weigh you down. But in the boxing, just that constant pace the whole time was like very snappy and poppy and pushy like the whole fight. I actually felt really good cardio wise after the 4 rounds, and I felt like he was fading. So I remember even in that 4th round, I started to put like some of the power on the shots at the end, especially coming towards the finish of the round, the final 10 seconds, because I was thinking, I'm going to get a finish here, or I'm going to keep going, he's fading out. And I remember thinking at the end of the fight, like, oh, I could easily have gone a couple more rounds. It was a very strange sensation because I haven't really felt like that before. I was like, man, I could definitely keep going, like, cardio-wise. And I feel like if that fight did keep going, I felt like I would have gotten a finish, like, in those later rounds as well. So I feel like I was starting to just, like, open up the more the fight went on. It was interesting. When I look at, like, my worst kind of rounds, personally, I thought, like, the opening rounds where I was, like, a little bit, like, full of adrenaline, trying to find my feet and stuff, I didn't do too great. But once I got my flow, blood was flowing a little bit, started angling, using the footwork and everything, it all started to really just take shape and form. I really enjoyed that. But I think if it was, like, a 12-rounder, I would have loved to have seen what my cardio would have done. Because, like, even at that pace, I was pretty, like, impressed that I could keep that pace for it. I reckon at least if it was like 8 to 10 rounds, maybe I would have been fine. Yeah. But I reckon I probably would have struggled the last couple.
Yeah.
So we had that one. That was a big, massive fight. It was a really good fight. Everyone was saying that was like one of the top fights of the night. And then on the next day, I flew over to Melbourne, 6 a.m. to go and coach Aldin on the Hex, big Hex card. It was a really awesome card, actually. Like really good fights in that card. And then you stayed back, and then you cornered Sam on the Battlegrounds. Yeah. So how'd that go?
Yeah, so Battlegrounds was good. It's like definitely improving, like show to show, like just the production quality and everything. Yeah. It feels like a really good, like a good like high end event. So you got like the race stage, and then like they've got all that the Perth Fit family there doing all the filming, and then Monster Energy was sponsoring it, and then you got like 6 big screen TVs and the tiered seating and everything like that. So yeah, it's like it feels like a pretty good like event. And then the matches were like there was a lot of good matches, especially. Because obviously, like, I like no gi and gi, so it was like I feel like gi's fallen out a bit of favour with like in terms of like viewership because it's not like it's as fast and explosive as no gi generally is. But I found there was a couple of gi matches the other night, like Caleb from Matt Shark, he's a purple belt, and his opponent they put on a wicked match, and then Stacey Wilson from Submission Factory versus Teco. He's at Gracie Barra now, but he was the coach at Evolve in Singapore. Like that, I feel like that was like probably like the match of the night. Like like, it would have been up there, and they were both in the gi, and it was like really exciting. Like just pushing the pace and going for it. So there was some real high level jiu-jitsu, and then Pablo as well from Perth. He got a Peruvian necktie, so he got like submission of the night.
I saw that. Yeah, that was wicked,
and that was against Matt Clark, who's like really good, like top level athlete.
I love a good Peruvian necktie.
Yeah, it was really cool. And then obviously like Sam went up against Adam from Manager Combat Sports, and Adam's a purple belt. And so Sam's a blue belt, and Sam got him with a triangle. So they had a bit of an exchange on the feet. I think Sam tried to look for like a bit of a takedown into the legs, fell to the side, and then got him into close guard. And then he just like come up to like a high guard, snuck his leg through, slapped on the triangle. And then once he like, Adam went to stand, Sam like caught his leg, cut the angle, and then like put the triangle on. Nice. So that's 3-0 for Sam on Battlegrounds. Yeah. And so I think he needs like another like a high level purple belt or like a brown belt or something like that. Like something like even
challenging. More challenge.
Yeah, for sure.
It's cool. And then while that was going on, I was over in Melbourne. So Aldin was fighting against the current champion in John O. McLeaf, and that turned out to be fight of the night. Yeah. You guys seen it? Yeah.
Yeah, I only saw bits of it.
Oh, you haven't seen the whole thing?
I didn't watch the full pay-per-view, but 4 rounds?
It went to 4 rounds, it was insane. Like, it was just back and forth. Yeah. But then Aldin started to, like, I think, take the lead as the fight was going on. Yeah. Like, considering, like, they were saying, John was like 25, he was 26 the next day, actually his birthday the next day. So he was 25, and obviously he was super fit, and he goes, he's done 5 rounds before, Aldin's never done 5 rounds. And like they had this little back and forth saying, oh, like, you know, like you're not going to be able to cope with it, you're not going to be able to like swim into the deeper rounds, and like, man, he just absolutely just got stronger and stronger. Well, they're both getting more fatigued, but like he's just seemed to be able to put it on and just like grind his teeth. He got hit with some bombs. Like he got hit with like a head kick, he got hit with a knee, opened up a cut under his eye. Like I thought that could have been the end of it, you know, like 'cause anyone else would have dropped on that one. But I mean, Aldin's like jiu-jitsu looked like so much better. He was able to reverse like loads of different positions. He was landing shots. He was doing stuff we were working in the gym. Like he was landing like certain combinations, certain kicks, and then he's like really putting it on him. And then it was in the 4th round. Like, you know, I was just saying, like, let's go for it. Because, like, I see they were both, we looked at the end of the 3rd round, they both sat on the floor, like, could hardly stand up. And then I had to give, like, a bit of a speech in the corner. And I was like, let's just go for it, let's go. And then, like, Aldin's like, let's just do this. And then he went after him, and then he just hit him with that right hand, letting in a big hook. And then knocked his mouthpiece out, and then just like went after him on the floor. The referee like saved him on the floor, so it was like absolutely amazing. Everyone was just talking about it. And, like, it was fight of the night, one fight of the night, and then some people are saying it could be the fight of the year, like in contention, because it was like so back and forth, and you need like 2 good dance partners to have like a fight of the night, and both went for it. And like obviously everyone's saying, oh, everyone's looking at John for UFC and this and that, and I think it just totally shook it up. Aldin.
Wicked performance.
Sam, Andrew, and I, we watched it live, like while we were at Battlegrounds. So Sam was done with his match, and so I finished cornering Sam. And then we came back, and Andrew had he was like waiting for it, and then so we watched it live. No commentary or anything because we couldn't have the sound on. Battlegrounds was on, so we just sat there and watched it live, and I was just like, oh man, I was like blown away, like everything. I was just like, like. I said to Aldin before he left, I was like, because I was like helping him with his jiu-jitsu and stuff, and then when he was rolling, I spoke to you about this today. I was like, I would talk to him like after his rolls, and I was like, man, I was like, that's the best jiu-jitsu I've ever seen you do. Like, you know, like when he was like rolling like a few weeks out, I was like, you've gotten so much better since the last fight, like with your grappling, and like. I said to you, like, this time he was, like, really focused. Like you were saying, he was, like, really focused with the striking and everything. And he was just, like, so much more focused with the grappling. Like, he was just asking a lot more questions that were, like, he was, like, asking me the questions. And, you know, when someone asks you a question, it's like, that's the perfect question to ask for that situation. Like, he was like, what if this? Or if I do that? And then you would answer and he'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Like, he's got it. And I was like, oh, he was just like on it, and then he knew where he had to work from. Like he was like, he said to me, you know, I want to work from this position and that position. Like I think it's going to end up there a lot. Like can we do work from there? And then in the fight, I was like, man, he was like so right. Like a lot of the things that Aldin was like saying to me and wanted to work on, he was ending up there. And then you know, you're like watching and you're just going like, hopefully that works, paid off, and it's and he does. Like he said to me before he left, he said, you know, when you're like coaching someone up to like a comp or a fight or whatever, you don't want to give them too much towards the end because they just they're not going to learn
nothing
anything
new. No.
Yeah, whereas like so you're always trying to like hold back. Like you know, I don't want to go into that next thing. But like Aldin said to me, he goes, oh, I find that it's in these last bits. He goes, I'll remember. I'll learn this stuff, and he was right. Like he was just like. And then so we were sitting there watching, and it was such a good fight. Like Aldin had a guillotine on him that looked like really tight at the time. It was tight, like Jono took him down multiple times. Jono had him in 2 head and arm triangles that Aldin got out of.
Just powered out.
He had him in that. Jono got him in that Kimura from bottom mount, which obviously it's going to be really hard for Jono to finish a Kimura from bottom mount.
It was in the corner at that time, and I'm talking to him. And I'm saying to him, like, obviously, at any time, you can get off the mount and you're out that Kimura, but you're giving up position. But he was like, going, I'm fine. It's fine. It wasn't everyone, like, the commentators are shouting how tight it was. Aldin said it wasn't tight at all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly, because you rang me straight after the fight, and I asked you about that, and, like, so it's like what you did was, like, perfect because all Jono wants is to get him off. Like, I don't think if you're hitting someone,
you're not really going to finish someone from bottom.
Like it's like in your head, you're not even thinking you're going to finish him. But like you said to me, because I was like, it looked tight, and you were
Yeah.
like, it did go like pretty tight at one point,
Yeah.
but there's only so far. You
Yeah.
cannot talk it anymore because your body's it can't come up.
Yeah,
Unless
Alden's
get
pretty
off.
honest when you ask him about stuff, and he's like going like, "Oh, this really hurt me," and this and that. And he goes,
No,
"The
it was
Kimura," he
alright.
said it wasn't tight at all. Like I was fine.
Yeah.
Like so, yeah, just trying to talk him through that, and it was good because a lot of the times when we were like able to talk him through stuff, it was over in our corner.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one time where he was in sort of in the middle, and I'm shouting, I'm saying, come back to me, because I want him to use the wall.
Yeah.
And he backs himself up to the wall, and the commentator's going, Jono's taking him to the wall. I was like, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Like, Alden's backing up to the wall, and then he got up on using the wall that way.
yeah.
It's just so funny when you're obviously in the corner watching the fight, and then you listen to the commentator, and then sometimes it's like, some of it's bang on, and some of it's like, oh, that's not the way it was.
I always find that quite funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, with the commentators are saying, you're like, what? Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really, goes differently to what's actually happening. But
And there was like all that at the end, like I think one of the commentators going, oh, they stopped it way too early, like, you know. And man, I was ringside, and since that I've watched it a few times on the fight. He hit him, like he was hitting him hard, like he was knocking him back against the fence with his cross. We were working on these, like doubling up the cross, and then obviously throwing that hook on the end, and he was knocking him back every time. Then he hit him with that hook, and his mouthpiece came out. I seen his eyes. He's right in front of me. His eyes rolled back, and as he hit the floor, then he just jumped on him like that, and he threw this one shot. And by the time he goes for the second shot, the referee's already there, and they're going, no, he's coming up for a single. He dropped back. He went automatically to try and grab a leg like this, and once the referee was there, then he got the single.
On the ref.
Yeah, on the ref. Yeah.
That's
Like,
what I was gonna say.
yeah.
You got the single on the ref. Or whenever like you see that, like I mean that happens at people like early stoppage. It's like look at the final image just as the ref is like about to stop it. And if the photo is the guy on the floor with the guy over him like this with the fist, it's like what was gonna happen?
The way the fight was going, I would have jumped in regardless. And again, everyone's saying like he is a young fighter. It's his first time he's ever lost.
let him-
Why do you want him to be out for months and
let him
months?
fight.
Because like, if he landed 3 or 4 shots on top, you could have cut him up. It could have like really caused him some damage. He's already going to be concussed. They're both concussed from that fight because it was such that got hit so hard.
Let him live to fight another day without that extra damage. Like, you just look at that final image, and it's like Aldin coming down with a fist like this, and then the ref's like about to stop it. It's like, I know that there was something similar like that in the UFC recently. Everyone was like, it was like exactly the same. So, and that final image is like the guy coming down with like a hammer fist on him. It's like early stoppage. Like,
those are the ones that do like so much more damage as well. Like you get hit like on the feet, fair enough, but like if your head's like in any way like on the canvas, or you're gonna like,
you're gonna get down.
You're working against the fist on the floor. It's like, boof, coming down.
You can gladly stop that ref.
I think there's no way that's an early stoppage. And what do you want him to like? People don't care though, do they? They're just like, Jono's like obviously a really good fighter, and he can let him keep fighting.
It was very biased, obviously, because he's from Melbourne, and obviously everyone's like he's going to UFC, this and that, and Aldin's come along and he's put a spanner in the works, really, like because he's on the fighting 3-win streak now, and he's really his training's coming on like to another level. So like I can understand why they're saying it, but like you listen to some of the podcasts afterwards, it wasn't about Aldin doing this amazing fight. It was about how Jono's going to recover and this and that, and it was just more about that, and it wasn't about it was this controversial stoppage. It doesn't matter. The ref stopped it. It wasn't a controversial stoppage, and what an amazing feat he put on, and what like skill set these both guys had. So yeah, it was an amazing card altogether. Amazing fights on the Hex card. I was really impressed. They looked after us pretty well backstage as well. I looked after as well, so it was a good show to be on.
And then, did you fly back the day after the event? Because you flew out
next day.
That would have been a very hectic weekend. Hey,
yeah.
So you we had my fight on Friday, I remember you left the venue very quick after that.
Yeah, I went back. By the time I got something to eat and I had about 4 hours sleep.
Yeah.
Got the plane the next day.
And you went.
Landed straight away into like some stuff with those guys
and
getting
flew
ready.
Back the next day.
And flew back the next day. Yeah, because I want to be back for Monday.
Yeah.
But
What do you think of the other fights on the card?
yeah, some wicked fights on there. I mean, watching Cody Haddon, he's at another level. So good. Like, and again, like I think his opponent just looked a lot better than he did previously, and it was like they were having trades backward and forward, but Cody just put it on him and then got the finish. Obviously, I watched Abdella's fight. I was half watching it. I watched it afterwards, but when I was backstage, I was with Aldin. I'm watching and I'm going, okay, Abdella's like piecing him up, like the way the bits are seen. And I was like talking to him, and next minute we heard that, when he turned around and then he got knocked out. Yeah. So I think it was from a clinch position. Yeah. He got in for a clinch. He was like his head was back, like he wasn't tight in with the clinch, and he just went boom, 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 and thought. And that guy's like obviously very good, and he's like living up to the hype. So that was a great fight, and apparently all the previous fights were very, very good as well. Yeah. So it was like a good show, good standard show. Yeah.
No, wicked. And then that's a recap of like most of the events that have happened in the last week or two, couple weeks, and what have we got coming up?
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be slowing down. I think we're gonna be busy boys. Like it's like it's just getting so much. Like
you got the SG,
life, do you know what I mean?
SGD coming up, and then we got another one on the Ascension. We got the Eternal and Hex coming up, but then also after the Battlegrounds said that they're gonna start doing combat jiu-jitsu as well.
Yeah, so
chat to me a little bit about this now, because I've lots of opinions on combat jiu-jitsu.
What, positive or negative?
Oh no, positive.
Oh right, okay.
Some are a bit like. Have you watched some combat jiu-jitsu?
I've only watched bits and pieces, but it sounds cool.
I think it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I think that some people that compete in combat jiu-jitsu are like not aware that they're competing in combat jiu-jitsu. And for me, that's probably the negative. I'm like, are you joking? Like from an MMA,
as in they're not throwing strikes or something.
I'm like, why are you bothering with that submission from this position? Like, you get
no, but it's
out,
like
right?
if you get the jiu-jitsu guys, say like a blue belt, purple belt, and they go, I'm going to try MMA for the first time, and then the grappling in the MMA class with the guys. And it's like the MMA guys going to jiu-jitsu. Sometimes they're so technical in jiu-jitsu, but then it goes the other way. And they start getting punched in the face, and they're like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And
that's
then
the thing,
I can't do this technique from here, so I think you need to sort of practice it. Yeah. But you're gonna have to train it, like palm striking each other in the face.
Well, I feel like it's like I thought about it, and I was like, obviously, like you just jits and hits, like MMA grappling sort of thing with like your striking. All you're doing then is like changing from the fist to the hand. So that's pretty good. Because like usually like when people ask me like about the different sort of disciplines and that, I say like MMA grappling, no gi and gi. It's like they're all the same thing, but they're all different as well. Like they're all it's like the same thing, but it's like slightly different. So it's like if you're MMA grappling, you're going to be leaning towards like dominant positions, like positions that you can strike from, positions that you can strike from that open up to like submissions where you're not giving up position. Yeah. So like ideally you don't want to be like dropping back for arm bars and stuff. You're going to be trying to finish like say cutting arm bars from mount and like S mount or something like that. Somewhere where you can strike and you finish an arm bar, you haven't given up, because if you sit back for an arm bar and you miss it, now you're on your back.
If you sit back for a heel hook, you're getting palm striked in the face, whether you get the position.
Like palm strike, whether it's combat jiu-jitsu or MMA, same things are going to apply. Yeah. Like it's like you just want to, you want dominant, controlling positions where you're not giving up any position to go for your submissions, or you're going to try and finish with strikes.
And then also, how is it? I'm interested in how it's scored. Like, on what basis is like strikes like scored compared to like effective grappling?
So on that I don't know, because I haven't watched it enough. I just know the premise of what it is. So whether it's like damage caused and submission attempts, I would presume it'd be the same as MMA.
It's like on a heel hook, and you're like, ooh, like if that goes like
unless it's the palm strikes to then they. I don't know. They count for activity, and then obviously if they're moving and they get you out of a position, I don't know how it's going to be scored.
Like, if there's like both people trying, one person's close on the sub, and then the other person's just like palm striking him in the face.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna get like heaps of power with palm strike. Because one of the
100%,
one of the first MMA tournaments that I used to fight in was Pancras. Pancras, yeah, and it was like palm strikes, punching at the body, kicks and that, whatever. But the palm strikes, I stopped the fights from just throwing palm strikes. The guys like tapping out because it's just like throwing a punch, but you just hear Baz Rutten, like knocking people out, you know. So if you can develop some power, and I've watched a few of the highlights of the combat jiu-jitsu, and then see people just getting stopped with palm strikes, like, oh, no, just not used to it.
Yeah, there's been people knocked
So
out.
things like the MMA guys might be good at something else to do, you know.
I think we'll have like a few guys like keen.
Or like a jiu-jitsu guy who's like, I've done a bit of striking, but I'm not as confident. Maybe I did the combat jiu-jitsu first, and
so
it's just something.
Walloping from
Exactly.
position.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Like you just in a normal position where you're both playing safe, and you just like, oh, I don't want to get subbed, so I'm just gonna be really, really tight in this position. I love like combat jiu-jitsu for that reason. Because it nullifies that. It's like, okay, well, if you're just going to sit here now, like, couple strikes.
We've got the new competition combat jiu-jitsu class starting.
If it gets that popular, you're going to get to the point where you're going to like need something like that. Like if it got that popular, because now you're actually doing like jits and hits basically, because exactly like you're right. So it's like on the offensive side of things, it's like you want dominant top positions where you can strike. But then on the defensive side of things, you can't just be down the bottom going like, okay, cool, I'm good here on bottom now. Because now you're having to
awareness
to block strikes and move.
Well, it's like we said last week, and I was training the lads with MMA. Like I said, don't just look for the submission. Use your strikes to open up your submission. So then they're going to use that as well in the combat jiu-jitsu. I'd imagine. Like the strike in the face or the covering up to give you a positional advantage. I
think that was like for Ren's fight. That like understanding of like what you just said there, like position or strikes will open up submissions. So like in Ren's fight,
the mount.
She got to the mount, she's on top, started unloading shots and it was great and everything. And then all of a sudden, I think the girl like maybe like
turn
put her
slightly,
hands out, turn slightly, and then Ren starts going for the neck, right? But at this stage, like I'm pretty sure all of the guys, myself at home at the TV, shouted. I was like, "What are you doing? Like, stop going!" Like,
we were in the corner, like, and then the girl had just slightly turned.
Yeah.
She went like for a head and arm, but she wasn't in the best position. Yeah. I'm like, "No, stop, Ren! No, stop! Just hit her! Just hit her! You're gonna finish her!" And she just started opening up on it, you know. So
And the thing is, when you're doing that, like realizing that, like, let's say, look, a choke could 100% like present itself, but off of the shots, like if you're hitting shots through, and then their head pops up because they don't want to get hit with the shots and they're like moving, then going to the neck completely and stuff, you know, like swapping between them. It would be good for that, I reckon.
Yeah, and also it depends on like your proficiency in jiu-jitsu too. Like you know, it's like someone like Nate Diaz, you know, he's catching people in triangles off his back and stuff like that. Whereas like it's like not every MMA guys, a lot of MMA guys are going to get like pieced up even if they've got you in close guard, you know. Like people are
depends on the level.
Like it's like if you're good at jiu-jitsu and MMA grappling, say if you're good at transferring to MMA grappling, it's like you get someone in your close guard, you can like nullify the striking, and then you can start to like frame out. You can attack cutting arm bars, you can attack guillotines, you can attack things, and so it's like. But if your jiu-jitsu's not that higher level, then now you're like you're in a different.
Rather than being like really high level or like proficient in just your jiu-jitsu, or then like MMA style or heaps of like ground and pound. I think just most effective use of both is like wicked. Obviously, you've got really slick jiu-jitsu anyway. And then, like, you get into positions where you're not shutting off that, like, understanding of, I could hit from here. Like, open things up and just controlling. Because sometimes in jiu-jitsu, I feel like you get a little bit lost. Or newbies can kind of be, like, in a really good position. And they're kind of like, I don't really know what to do from here. Yeah. And it's almost like, no, like, you actually... you don't need to stress about that too much because you're, like, on top. You're controlling. Yeah. If it was a real-life scenario or fight, like, you'd be in the best position you'd want to be. You don't have to, like, fall off and go for an armbar or something, you know? But I think like it'll be really cool to watch some events and stuff if they pop up and like.
I think I've got a fair few like people in the gym would want to do it. So I think it'll be quite popular. I reckon.
Yeah. When are they looking to do it?
Soon, I think.
Yeah. Yes, it says it's coming soon.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I know, like when I was like heavily training MMA, like all my jiu-jitsu was just like tailored towards like being on top, and like dominating and controlling positions.
And now you're more like just guard work. And
now
Full guy, just
that's
skip
like
warm-ups.
float around like a motherfucker. No, it's like when I decided like, oh, I want to get my purple belt, like I was like, what do I need to do to
When
get
did you
there?
decide that?
Like just before I got my purple belt.
That's so sick. You just decided, like,
Yeah, so
just
we could go into like a whole nother thing.
Yeah, so I would've been
on
fine,
belts
fine.
and whether they mean things and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
it's like for me,
I'm just
I
joking.
never like worried about belts, and then I was just like, all of a sudden I was like, oh, I want to get my purple belt, and then that's when my jiu-jitsu actually took off. Was when I actually went, oh, I want to get my purple belt.
Yeah.
What am I missing? And then I went, oh, I can't go off my back at all. If I go on I'm so good on the top and so used to being dominant, like trying to be on the top, like MMA style, because that's like what I was training for.
Yeah.
Then I realized that if I was on my back, my guard would just get passed by everybody like that. And so then I was like, okay, now I got to start working off my back. And then I realized that like, oh, to be a purple belt, you got to be like more well-rounded. I got to be able to work off my back. I got to be able to work on top. I got to be able to do this. I got to be able to be offensive. Like when I got my purple belt, then I was like, okay, I'm kind of able to stop like people passing my guard and things like that. How can I be more dangerous off my back? So now you're becoming like just as dangerous off your back as you are on top.
Yeah.
And so, but in terms of like jiu-jitsu, it's like you'll do that. So say we're like rolling and I'm in a dominant top position, and then maybe you're starting to like sweep me or reverse me or something. If we're doing like just jiu-jitsu, I might let that go. So I'll be like, I give up on that top position to roll to my back, and now I'm going to work off my back and attack from there. But in MMA grappling, I'm not going to give that top position up lightly. Like I'm going to fight for it. So it's like that's where they're like the same but different.
Do you think sports specific? So from that point of view, like, do you think? Yeah, just what are your thoughts on? I'd say like also MMA is like my bread and butter. That's where I want to put all my eggs in that basket. Like, get really good competitively, high level for MMA, and then like, I'm a purple belt. I feel like a lot of my like submissions or my game off of like my back or like on bottom in jiu-jitsu, I refrain from practicing them a lot because of MMA.
Yeah.
What does it look like to get better at both and like not like sacrifice one, if that makes sense?
I think if you train in more MMA and then so most of your stuff is from top, because you want to work from the bottom as well, because there's someone going to be stronger on the top than you are. Yeah. And you're going to end up on the bottom, and you're like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. So you got to be like good at both. I think you got to put some time into it. But like again, like your main focus of your training in your MMA training is that I want to get top position, want to be dominant, don't want to give up position on the bottom. Yeah. But then when you're in jiu-jitsu, then maybe okay, I'm gonna work from my back a little bit more because I want to be like a full well-rounded athlete. It's hard because there's only so many hours in the day.
Yeah, I was going to lead to my next question. And then from that point of view as well, what, because you can train everything individually, like just no gi, or I'm just going to go do gi, jiu-jitsu, I'll do boxing, do more time stuff. From a MMA point of view, obviously there's so many different aspects you need to cover, like your striking, your grappling, all that. How many sessions of just like MMA do you reckon is important to be doing like on a weekly basis? For that, like, oh, I'm an MMA fighter. Like,
yeah, I mean, so you have some gyms where like every day is going to be MMA, and then don't even like split the different disciplines. Yeah, which is cool as well. But I find that those one generally, there's obviously outliers, like they're never as good in each discipline. Like so that the striking's like good for MMA, it's not brilliant, and then the grappling's not is good, but it's not brilliant. You know what I mean? So I think by separating it and then putting yourself in a position where someone just does jiu-jitsu and you're going against someone who just does boxing. You know, it's like when you did the boxing and you went down and sparred some boxing gyms, you're like, oh, this is different. You know, I say different style, but I think it's really good because it's very challenging. And then when you do start putting it together in the MMA classes, I think that's where like it's going to really benefit you. Yeah. Because your hands are sharper, your Muay Thai, your clinch is better. Like you're not just doing it specifically for MMA. Yeah. You're having a better overall. Because again, some guys like they'll come say from Thai boxing, and they go, I want to do MMA, but I just want to learn how to defend in jiu-jitsu. I want to learn how to defend the takedown. But they never have a really good understanding of the jiu-jitsu, and they get put in these positions, and they're like, oh, I'm not really sure what I'm doing from here. But I think if you go and fully put yourself into it, you know what I mean? Again, there's only so many hours in the day, but if you put yourself into it, and I think you're going to benefit by doing that and the whole scheme of things, you know. And it's very important to do the MMA training, because then how do I put the boxing with the kicking, and how do I do the striking with the takedowns, how do I do the takedowns with the grappling, and the grappling striking. So I think you definitely got to, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 times a week where you're putting like everything together, and then the other ones you're working on specific stuff, and then if you come up to a fight camp, then maybe you do a bit more, you know.
I think it's like, I think there's an easy way, like if I just specifically talk about jiu-jitsu as a specific training for MMA, would be easy, like say tonight, right? So every Friday night we do leg attacks. So tonight I was doing the truck, we're doing calf slices. Okay, you're an MMA fighter, and you want to you've only got a certain amount of time. The level that you're at, say you're like at a early blue belt stage of jiu-jitsu level, right? So your jiu-jitsu that you would want to be like working on for your MMA is going to be more like, it's not going to be like rolling into the truck and attacking calf slices. It's not going to be like Imanari rolling into heel hooks. It's for MMA. It's going to be like, you might be doing those things in the class, might be there, right? But my emphasis wouldn't be on the takeaway from that. It might be like, hey, cool, do this. Find the concepts from here that I can use. Yeah. But it would be things like getting out of bottom mount, getting out of bottom half guard, getting back to your feet, getting to a dominant position. You know, like how can I stop punches with my closed guard, like getting over hooks and wrapping them up. And then what happens is, as you get better, you kind of like, say, master those things. Okay, you can get out of bottom half guard. There's ways to get out of bottom half guard, and then there's like better ways, and there's like more complex ways. And like you can get, now you add on to getting out of bottom half guard with like using a false reap, getting to dogfight, things like this. So then you add on. So now you're building your jiu-jitsu is actually getting better, but you're just starting from like that, and you're just building that base. And then you'll get to the point where maybe you are now at Imanari rolls into heel hooks to the point where you could do them in an MMA fight if you wanted to, but you've built so far. You've spent so much time doing jiu-jitsu and MMA, you get that good. But you're not gonna be like Imanari rolling into heel hooks day one when you can't, like you're on bottom mount just getting punched in the face or something. It's like you need to be. So it's just like as time goes on, you just get like, now I'm working, like I'm doing squid guard and stuff in gi. So it's like. It's like I wasn't doing squid guard 10 years ago because it's like, what, I can't even like sweep someone from closed guard. But now I can sweep someone from closed guard. I can do all these things. So you're like, well, what's the next thing? Like, you know, you see Nate Diaz in the UFC doing go-go platas and stuff. It's like, because he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He's a black belt in boxing. You just keep adding.
Was that Nick Diaz?
Was it Nick Diaz?
Go-go plata, wasn't it?
I don't know, whatever.
Was it Nate
Diaz? Nate got the triangle and gave
Which one are
you on about? You on about Gogo Plata?
Gogo Plata.
Gogo Plata.
It was against
Nick was Gogo Plata.
Gormy. Against Gormy,
Triangle.
I said Nick.
I think
I was only young then. I can't remember.
Just on that as well.
Does that make sense, Kev?
That made heaps of sense. I really enjoyed that. Because it's like,
put that in the bank.
Yeah, 100%. Quote that.
People.
Quote this man.
Put that in the bank.
But yeah, because like you obviously, the whole goal, isn't it? Like, is that you're like constantly improving, like constantly developing the whole time. So like when you're going into training, like what stage am I at? What can I do already? What do I want to be able to do? Like, am I learning? Am I getting better? All those things, like you kind of keep on adding to your arsenal every time. And then over the course of, how long did you say it was until you can do all the squid guard stuff?
Oh,
10
years. Whatever.
Fast you are,
10 years.
Well, you could start squid guard from the start, and then know how to do squid guard, and maybe not know how to pass guard or something.
I'm just playing with you. So but yeah, you go from like not being able to do it to getting to a stage where you can. But I want to chat about that actual that period of time. What do you guys feel like really helps you to go from like, right, here's a skill, I haven't done it, or I can't really do it like well physically. I don't quite understand it fully either because I haven't actually used it myself yet, but I've been shown it. So like that's step one, and then like actually using that skill in like a actual situation, like whether it be a roll or a spar. What do you feel is the best kind of way that you get from point A to point B in that like skill attainment? Do you understand my question?
Yeah. So is it like what's the stages?
Yeah, so like, do you find like repeating it or like how?
Well, everyone learns differently, but usually, like, obviously, I'll show someone. So say if I was teaching a class, I want to work on a certain system, and say like I was going to do it over a number of weeks or whatever. Like I'll show them the technique. If you notice in my classes, like if I do say I was working on the teep. We're looking at a teep and then we're looking at teep into something else and a teep into this, but I'm repeating the teep the whole time. We're breaking down the basics of doing like a teep technique or whatever the technique was going to be, and then I want to put it in something like in a playful way. So whether it is sparring or whether it's something else, where we're really playing with that technique. And the more we're playing with it, the more you're going to be repeating that skill set, and then hopefully starting to adapt it. And then when you put it into like say hard sparring or whatever we're doing it with, hopefully you're going to pick it up. Otherwise, we go back to the number one, we break it down a bit more, and keep repeating again. Because everything's going to be very cognitive when you first learn it. You're going to be like, okay, what are you doing? Standing right foot back, and my hands are here, and you have to think about it so much. And until you get like those repetitions in, and until it becomes quite playful when you're doing it, and you do it like automated, really. That's we want to get to that stage.
Actually, the whole point is to get to a point where it's actually less cognitive.
Yeah, like and it's automated, and it's just like just flows. So you get in the flow state,
and it's almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Muscle memory and stuff. So, when you do it, I always find this interesting. If you're doing technique in jiu-jitsu, that's usually done very slow and step by step, right? Oh, well, I know, like, obviously, like, boxing, on the other hand, like, still, like, we'll teach it, like, slow and step by step. But what I notice is when you look at jiu-jitsu and you look at, like, the striking stuff, someone in a striking class will go faster and more powerful so much quicker to try and get it right, if that makes sense. I feel like that's, like, a huge, like, just, like, negative, like, impact on, like, trying to actually get it. Because in jiu-jitsu, imagine trying to go full tilt real fast straight away to try and catch something. Like,
well, it just depends on, like, who are you training and what you're doing. So if you're doing like a class format, yes, we're going to learn this, but then some people are coming to the class for different reasons. So you come to a class and you go, okay, I know I want to learn this, learn a skill set, and I want to drill it and I want to get good. But then this other guy's like, I do want to do it as well, but I want to get a bit of a workout. So like, so you're trying to like put it in the class where you're doing that, you're getting a bit of a workout as well. But the more you do it, the more it's going to become that automative, you know what I mean? It's different if you're like one-on-one with someone, okay, this is what we're going to do today, and then next time this is what we're going to do the next time, you know what I mean?
How do you know when to tell someone to like slow it down and not focus on like, any of those?
When they can't get it. Because I mean, like, even in the class, there's all different levels of people, depending on which class we're in. And sometimes you're going to be teaching someone, you're going to be going, okay, we're going to do, say it was this technique, whatever technique it was, we're going to do this, I'm going to repeat doing it. And you get some of the guys who've been doing it for a while, and even those still they start like adding new stuff on. And it's just so annoying because it's like, why are you adding new stuff on? Because you clearly haven't got, they think they've got what they're doing, but you haven't got it. Like even if it was a jab, I'm showing you how to do a jab, and they're going, I'm going to throw a jab cross talk. I'm like, no, because you haven't got the jab yet. Like you think you have, but you haven't. You know what I mean? You can improve it. Like I can improve my jab. You know what I mean? So it comes with experience as well of them taking themselves back. But at first, you're gonna have to slow people down and go, okay, guys, do this way, and whether they take that on board is another thing. You know what I mean?
I have one more question, just add on to that, because do you feel that can ever be flipped? And like sometimes people get harped up too much on like technique, and you're like, nah, you actually need to just stop thinking. And like the way I explained it to someone the other day was like, they were like, oh, I can't get this. And every time I'd watch them do it, it was so slow. They're like, their body's actually balancing with the wrong things because of how slow they're doing it. Not realistic at all. So I was like, nah, it's like you're asking me to like how to sprint, right? I was like, and like, I'm trying to teach you how to sprint. Like, you're not going to be able to sprint in slow motion. Like, you know what I mean? You can't do it slowly.
That's what I'm saying. Once you've drilled it and learned the technique, okay, now let's put it in a game or a playful thing or sparring or whatever it is going to be, hitting the pads. And then now we're going to go faster, more power, because they start throwing more power. Next minute, their balance is gone. They go, okay, now we've got to learn how to balance from this position. Because you could balance when you were just doing it in the air. But now you're hitting something, your foot's coming back too far or whatever. So, that's when you're going to have to take them back, and everyone's going to be very different with that.
I think that's, but that's also like the key to like having or being a good coach, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's like having a coach that can see that.
Yeah.
Like you see someone goes to you, I just can't do it, and then you're like, okay, show me.
Yeah.
And then you're like, are we going way too fast, or you're going way too slow,
Yeah.
or whatever. It's like you need the coach to like pick that
'Cause
up.
I'm pretty confident. If I do a PT with someone and they come in and go, I want to work on my right kick, my left kick, whatever they're going to work on, and they go, I'm not that good at it, and I want to improve it. I said 100% money back guarantee.
Yeah.
I will 100% improve your kick by the end of this session because I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
By the end of it, the kicking night, they won't be the best kicker in the world, but it's going to be a lot better than they started with.
Yes.
So it's just having that confidence as a coach, I think. You know,
yeah.
if someone I know it, like someone asked me to go, how would you do the boogie choke?
What
I'll
if
be like,
someone
I
asked
don't
you
never
something?
use it. You know, like I know the basic premise, but I'm not gonna pretend like I'm.
I know how to do it,
Yeah.
and I can't do it. My
Yeah,
arms,
yeah.
I'm just my arms.
I hurt my arm,
cannot.
yeah.
Last question that you like straight up, you have no idea what the answer is.
Yeah.
What do you respond in that situation?
So basically, I would say like that.
Don't ask
It
me
depends.
stupid questions.
Give me a question, for instance.
Oh yeah, that's yours.
Yeah, don't ask me stupid questions.
So how do you do like a pony back saddle choke in jiu-jitsu?
I'll be like,
That's
show
right,
me, because I
depends.
don't know what that is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, when the
Yeah.
names.
Yeah, if
come
you didn't know
into
the
it,
names,
I'm
yeah.
like, oh.
If you don't know the names, something.
I think when I first started off
show me,
coaching,
yeah.
like years and years ago, like, people would ask me, and I'd go, "Oh yeah," and I try and like bluff my way through.
Yeah.
But now
I can't bluff because like
yeah.
you'll know I'm bluffing
Yeah,
straight
yeah.
away.
Well, like I'm fairly confident in my like with teaching now, and then they ask me, I'm like, I have no idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, like we're teaching so much stuff.
Yeah.
Like even like jiu-jitsu itself, like you're never gonna learn it all.
Nah.
Like you're not. Like someone's gonna come along and they're gonna show you something, and you're gonna go, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're
Well,
gonna.
I would way prefer that. Like if I asked you, oh,
Yeah.
Steve, can you do this or that? I would way prefer you to say
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be honest.
What?
Yeah, well, but you asked me today about the single leg. You asked me a question about that.
Yeah.
Or today or yesterday, whatever it was. And like, no, some coaches won't ask, and it's just so stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It's like they're gonna.
Have left
'Cause, I know everything. I used to work when. Hey.
How long do we have left before the break?
Oh, we got a break now. Sorry.
Okay, so yeah, in terms of like people ask you like people ask me all the time,
Yeah.
do you know how to do this?
I'm following.
And because of all the names thing as well, I'm like, oh, haven't heard of it, like whatever, show me, or maybe I do know the name, but I haven't got to it yet because there is so much jiu-jitsu to learn, like you said, or there's always new stuff. I just haven't got to it yet because I'm constantly teaching classes. It's like hard to like keep on, like you've got to keep on whatever you were teaching at the time. I'm adding on to that, researching, studying that, plus you got your own game, and then someone comes out of left field with something that you're not even anywhere in around at that time, you know. So you just got to be like, nah, I don't know, you know, like, or maybe a slightly know, and I will say, yeah, I do know it, but I'm not, I'm not like really like mastered that or like really on that. And then like you said to me, I asked you about the single leg, you know, something I probably should know the answer for, but you were like, most coaches maybe wouldn't like ask because it makes them look like you don't know or you're not smart. And I remember even when we were training with Aldin on the day he flew out, and we were doing the rounds with him, and I asked you the question about the single leg against the wall. Like I was like, you know, this seems, it's like an obvious question, but I was just like, I want to know because it's like it just makes me better. And I asked you, and like the answer was exactly what I thought it was going to be. But it's like that's the whole point of having a coach, right? Having someone above you that knows more than you.
Yeah.
You
Do you
know?
know what you say before your classes when it's like there's no silly questions?
Yeah.
Let's
No,
take that.
but it was like what I'm saying is like.
Steve's like, no, it was a silly
He's like,
question.
that's a stupid question.
No, what I'm saying is like I've come across so many different coaches, but not just martial arts coaches, but PTs, different coaches teaching different things, and some of them are so wrapped up in themselves they'll never admit to not knowing anything.
Yeah. No,
Like, and I'm usually quite honest. I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like, you know what I mean? I've been doing martial arts for like, I don't know, 30 odd years, whatever it is, and I still don't know everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm never gonna know everything, but I've got like a good understanding of more stuff, but that particular thing I don't. But there's guys who are like young and they're in the 20s or whatever, and they're like, I've been doing this martial arts longer than you've been alive. Yeah. And I still don't know. So you can't know everything. It's impossible to know everything. You know what I mean?
I think
that's
deep down, obviously you want to know. Obviously you want to know.
Yeah.
But like sometimes, and it's different for people. I think a big one, your Peruvian necktie. You taught me a Peruvian necktie. Yeah. And we chatted about this in the beginning of the podcast. Someone got a Peruvian necktie. But I do it differently to the way he does it.
Yeah.
And people have even pit me against Steve before, and they've said, you say to do Peruvian necktie like that. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, Steve said to do it like that.
Yeah,
and then I'm like, and? Like,
it's different ways of doing it.
No, there's different. I mean, that's just jiu-jitsu. There's just different variations. People are going to... So with your... like, because I know you really like the Peruvian. So every time I teach a Peruvian, I do it like this. Yeah. I said... Kev likes it like this, or like, cause I thought.
Do you know how I like a Peruvian?
Do you do gable grip?
I do gable grip.
So I'm like,
this guy.
Kev does a.
How do you do it?
Yeah. I do like a guillotine.
Oh my gosh,
like
I actually haven't tried
or
like
an
that.
S.
Steve does the S grip.
Yeah, so I do this.
Yeah.
I wait. Yeah. That's my one.
Yeah.
Then I'll say, or you can go S.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, and like Kev does like a gable.
Yeah. What's your favorite one to do? So
that one.
Just like a guillotine.
Yeah.
I've actually never tried it. Like
I just pull that straight into the carotid.
Yeah.
So they've all got benefits and they've all got negatives. So like it's just like how you, but the principle's the same, isn't it? Really?
You're doing the same thing, just different. Like So
you can do that. Like once you start to like build that knowledge, right? So it's like I always did it like whatever this way, and then it's like Steve, maybe I'm in his class and he teaches it that way. Then I'm in your class, you teach it that way. So then now the next time I teach a Peruvian, I go, you can do it this way, or this way, you know?
Nice,
and then people are like, oh yeah, and because I don't know, everyone's so different, they might way prefer a different way.
Yeah.
Like, so,
and everyone's body's different as well.
Yeah.
And I'll try and like also, you know, sometimes I you give credit as well. Like, so it's like Andrew, you know, he's a blue belt, but he'll like show me something, or like add something, or like remind me of something, and I'll be like, oh yeah, okay guys, like, so Andrew should, you know, or this person showed me this thing, like, and then I'm teaching it now, but I'll say like, Andrew showed me, like, there's nothing wrong with just going like, a white belt showed me something, and I was like, oh, that's pretty good, like, I like that, you know, like, so, and then you incorporate that in, and you can throw that in. Also, when I teach, another thing I'll do as well is things that I can't do, or things that I don't like. I will say, you can do it like this, you can do it like, because maybe I don't like it, but maybe you love it.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I really don't like this one. I'm like, this is the one I use. I don't like this one because I give a why. And then I say, but, you know, everybody's body is different, so they might really like it. Like, I got short arms and stuff, so...
like my game compared to your game is all going to be very different. Exactly. Like what you use, I'll be like, oh fuck, I don't think I can pull that off because I'm so lanky and long. It's like, oh, you can't do what I'm doing, you know?
Have to reach for it.
Yeah. So everyone's going to be different, and it's been able to, I think a good coach been able to teach all that, because like you'll have like, I'm teaching something in the class, maybe it's like a modified X guard or something like that, and then I'm going to go this sweep. And this like little small guy in the class is like, my legs won't reach.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Got to think of how you're gonna do that, because that's not how I do it. But like the principle has to be the same. You know what I mean? Like we'll have to make it a bit different.
Sometimes as well, like depending on the person, you know, and their attributes. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well this move, like,
it's not for you.
They're like, I can't do it, and I'm like, okay, let me have a look. We go. I try and help them move, adjust, try different and then you're just like, okay, this isn't for you. Like, this just like, I can see. I hate. There is coaches out there that are like, you know, everyone should be able to like do everything, and it's like, nah, like you've got to be able to admit and go, okay, like I've just taught this thing in this class, and I can see that you pretty much can't do it for whatever reason. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I think like sometimes like, especially because it's a gym, like you're gonna have like a little bit both ways, like. People that are training in the class or come to classes regularly can look at a coach, and even if like he's saying something or it's a little bit vague, it can be like, no, like I trust that coach, like I know that coach is well able to do the move or whatever. Just any of the complacency or whatever isn't necessarily from like a lack of care or like, oh, I can't do it. It's just because you know that there's a lot of different ways to do the thing. I feel like it can go vice versa. Do you know, sometimes if like you're teaching someone teaching something, and then let's say you're demoing, and then like the person that you're with is just being like really like stubborn. So I've noticed this. I saw this on Instagram the other day, and I had a laugh of it because it was like, oh, when like people don't just want to like play on, right? And the guy's teaching jiu-jitsu, and he's like holding on to his gi, so he's like, so just gonna break the grip.
Yeah,
and the guy's holding on to it, and he like won't let him break the grip.
Who is it?
It was Kit Dale.
Was it a comedy thing?
Yeah, it was a skit.
It looks real, doesn't it?
It looks really real. Yeah, it's for Kit Dale. Was like an Australian jiu-jitsu black belt. Yeah, like, and the guy's like, and he's like just holding. He's like, you just break the grip, and he's like, won't let go.
Didn't he start hitting him and stuff?
But so this thing, I was like, there's kind of like a catch-22 there, because it's like, well, number one, like straight up, I'm all for like if someone's teaching absolute like dog crap, like that would never work. You don't just sit there and believe it. Like that's all that Aikido stuff. Like we do this and the person like flips, right? But so like if you're doing jiu-jitsu, like he was like, oh, break the grip, and the guy was like being real stubborn, and I was like, oh my gosh, like you're gonna make him like go full tilt and break the grip, and like
I can't see why people have that mentality. Like when if you're using them for a demo, it's like we're showing you the technique and the skill of it. Yes, we can go full on.
Do you want me to?
But
Dude, the other day I was like doing a teep, and I was like, I'm gonna catch a teep, and then I'm just gonna like give another little like snap of my leg once they caught my teep. Just quickly shock them, and then like I'll be able to get my leg back. And then I went to do it like nice and light, and it like stayed holding onto my leg. And I was like, oh mate, like I was like, I'm actually gonna have to send you in a second, like. But
and you just gotta. I just yeet them out and get someone else. I'm like, you're out. Give me I did
with the Thai boxing. It was going like you catch the leg and you go for this sweep.
Yeah.
And I was just going through the motions. So I was gonna like gently, and they were like hopping around. I was like, I was like, what the hell? So then I had to properly sweep him.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, oh, I was like.
See, that's the thing. Went to sweep someone, and I was like, you take out the leg, and I went to sweep him, and they didn't fall. I tried so hard to stay standing. And then I just put the leg down, continued talking as if I swept them. Yeah. And I could see that some people were like, a bit like, oh, you didn't even
that doesn't work.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and then like, when you go over, like, next time, like, I'm sorry I have to do this, mate, but like.
You need good, like, a good hookie, like, when you're trying to, like,
so if you say that one more time.
You need a good hookie. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I'm
not going through that again.
So it's like, you know, it's like, some people just go, like, they're like, oh, the move's not working. Like, even if they're demoing with their partner, it's like, oh, James, I can't like get it. And you come over and I'm like, well, the guy's like a wet fish, you know? Like he's just like flopping. He's just falling over. I was like, if they just fall over, you're never gonna just get on top of him now. Don't even worry about the move. The guy just fell on the ground.
I'll often do that. I'm demonstrating, and then someone's fairly new. And I'm like going, well, obviously I wouldn't do this technique. I'd just get mount because he's not stopping me from doing anything. Like, I'll show someone in the class and go, like, I'm going to use this. It was a striking technique, and I go, yeah, cool. And they'll practice it in the class, and they'll come to me and they go, oh man, that doesn't work. I was doing it on sparring on Saturday. I was like, you've done it one session for an hour. How are you gonna pull it off? 100%. Like you have to like really drill it. I'm telling you, I use this all the time. It will work, but you have to drill it. You know.
It's just I always just try and take myself back to when I was learning. You know, like you just go back and then you go.
I'm always learning, so
it's like you know, you go back and you remember that, like when you didn't like know stuff and you just be like, what, you know, whatever it might be, your floppy fish, or it's like some people are too stiff.
It's like teaching a language, like, do you know what I mean? Like teaching and skills are like vocabulary, and like it's so frustrating. So trying to have a conversation with a toddler who doesn't understand what you're saying. But you gotta remember that at one stage you couldn't understand all this.
It could be an accent.
Really, no, it's not my accent.
Oh, okay.
Like, you gotta speak really simple, like. Oh,
well. What's it?
This is bad now. I feel like everything's just gone against me now. My ear, I couldn't hear there for a second, and then I just got really overwhelmed. Like, got a perforated eardrum at the minute. It's not good. Yeah. But I forgot what I was saying.
I think that's when you find a good hookie. You just like you get that person like Dan gets like every class because he's like.
Do you know Jean?
Just such a
Jean-Luc. How he's done the wrestling.
The fake wrestling and does a break fall.
So he's fantastic at break falls.
Right. I was using.
When I use it for takedowns and throws, everyone's like, oh,
Well, because they sell it.
Yeah, it's like,
do
boom.
it though, and he'll like hit the floor and he'll
Yeah.
like make the sound, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's so wicked."
Yeah, there's nothing worse though when you're like, you go to show something and the person's like super stiff and you're just like, can't move, and you're like,
What's the point?
You're just like, it just doesn't work. Like when you're trying to like.
It'll work out better for everyone if you just like let go.
But yeah, I mean that's fine. It's like you just when you find those good hookies, you just hold them and
100%.
use them all the time.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say last thing.
UFC.
Oh, we can chat about UFC. I was just gonna say
Robin.
crash mats. More crash mats for the gym.
Yeah, well, hold on my list is crash mats. This is like a years ago I asked for crash mats so we can do throws.
I want crash mats,
and a bench seat to go across.
We're getting them en route.
We're getting,
I'm telling you.
I'm
telling you.
Hold on. Are they
Not
coming?
crash mat,
Heard it
I'm
here
gonna crash
first,
mat,
folks.
Crash.
Bench seats first.
What about crash mats?
You just asked me now. He's never mentioned it before.
Okay, can we please get one? Next podcast.
They're expensive, you know.
This is that's exactly what he said to me when I asked before. He said they're expensive.
I'm not made of money.
Yeah, but I want a crash mat so we can do takedowns and
if any of his sponsors want to.
and I want a bench seat.
Yeah, bench seat. We've
bench
actually
seat.
What do you mean
started.
Speaking of bench
I think
seats,
Are they
bench-
coming before or after the geese? Like the branded geese and stuff. Is the bench seat before or after?
They're coming. They're coming. So everything's coming together.
Everything's coming. Okay.
You've seen the rashes.
Christmas
You've seen the rashes, haven't you?
I've seen. That's
seen
all he
rashes.
says to me when I say we need to get like some. You've seen the rashes. I'm like, I've seen them on the phone. When I see them in real life and can hold them, like.
Yeah, we got all coming
See,
very
now it's
soon.
been called out
Within-
live. Is this
within-
live? It's not live.
Not live. Not live.
This has all been
It's
edited
gonna be
out.
edited out. Yeah, it's just you talking about Ookies and then it goes off.
Good Uki.
So I was just going to finish off just talking about the UFC coming up because it's a big,
Okay,
massive
change the
card.
subject, That's fine.
So Robin's turned that around, realizes I'm blind and I can't read any of them.
I can
So,
read it.
so if we just go,
From top to bottom to top, Steve.
Vera, going Vera.
what's the bottom? Oh, so you got.
BSD.
Jack,
Can you read the bottom one?
the very bottom one.
Yeah.
We're going from
You've
the
got
bottom.
Peter Yan
Yeah,
and Song Yakong.
Isn't it
yeah.
Sonya
Sonya
Dong?
Dong. Sonya Dong.
I can't.
You can't even read it either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
Sonya
got
Dong.
get hit in the head too much.
Isn't
You
he?
not seen him
That's
fight?
Korean Superboy, isn't it?
I don't know what he's fighting. You know all the names for everything.
Superboy. How do you know that?
I'll Google it. Sonya
job.
Dong. I think so. I could be wrong. Let me check.
Yeah, I don't know. I know he's a very good boxer. And then Peter Yan, obviously,
He's very
I've seen
well-rounded,
heaps,
isn't
I'd get
heaps fight.
Robin to pull it up, but I'll just do it.
Gilbert Burns. Yeah, we got Gilbert and Jack Della.
What do you reckon? Who do you reckon?
Jack.
Yeah.
I'm really.
Why?
Why? Well, I feel like he's just got a bit more grit in the hands and stuff.
Kung Fu Kid.
The Kung Fu Kid.
Totally
is
wrong.
And
Sonya
it's
Dong.
Chinese, so I was like way off.
Yeah, I think Jack could pull it off as well. Like I think his jabs, what's going to give him Gilbert Burns an issue.
Yeah.
But we'll see what
I
happens.
do like
Gilbert Burns,
though, and
he
his
is.
hair is awesome. Like, he's got the biggest afro at the moment. You seen it?
I've seen it. Yeah,
It's like just
Massive,
it's
yeah.
sick. How does he fight?
Sporting a big afro.
Yeah, Gilbert Burns' afro is sick.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it recently.
Man, it's
I like Gilbert
so
Burns. He's a
good.
wicked fighter, but I reckon that'll be a really, really good fight.
I think it's gonna be a sick fight. Then you got Michael Page, who's been waiting for ages. How old is he now?
Don't know. Robin,
sure.
pull that up. Oh, she can't.
And then against Kevin Holland, I think that's going to be a great fight as well. You'd think?
Tough first fight.
Do you reckon? I think Michael Page.
Is the UFC lights going to be too bright for Michael Page? Clip that.
It's 36.
36. So yeah, he's getting on a little bit, but he still like looks very sharp. And then you've got Dustin Poirier.
BSD. Yeah, that's what they call him, BSD.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Benoit Saint Denis. I think that's what.
Benoit Saint Denis.
Yeah, Benoit Saint
And then-
Denis.
Yeah.
I'm going BSD.
Yeah. Why?
I've just like heard. I think he's from like the French, like whatever they call him, like
The
Navy
Navy
Seals,
Seals.
basically of
Oh, yeah.
France, and like so he's been
He's
been like
watched
killing
all
people.
the UFC like lead up.
He's been killing people in like real life, so I think he could probably beat you in the cage. That's why I'm
Dustin
going
Poirier.
Started
Yeah.
MMA and UFC just to become a better soldier.
You've heard
Oh,
it
really?
here first,
Oh, whatnot.
BSD.
Scary man.
Do you want to bet on it?
Not going to bet nothing. No.
I'll bet you bench seats for the gym.
I'll bet you crash mats.
What do you think of Mali and Vera?
I'm going Vera.
I'd fair. I'd like Vera to win. Just to mix it up a little bit. O'Malley seems to have that a good reach though. Yeah, I mean, I'll go for Vera. What would you go for?
It's really hard. What do you reckon about the first fight that they had?
Yeah, so
Is that where he got injured?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
who got injured? O'Malley.
O'Malley.
Yeah, so that he said that's his one loss.
Yeah.
That he said he didn't lose though.
yeah.
He said he doesn't.
Was it an injury or did he beat him down?
Yeah, well, no, wasn't it? He got his leg.
No,
didn't
I
his
can't
leg,
remember.
his ulnar nerve or something or whatever it is.
And
No, was it from a kick?
Yeah, but like his leg shut down or something.
Yeah, well, it's from the kick, innit?
Yeah, but he.
Yeah.
So this is the whole discrepancy.
I'm pretty
This
sure.
is like, people just be like, nah, I got finished, but he's like, no, I didn't get finished. Like,
Yeah.
but I think Vera probably for this one, unless O'Malley catches like that one shot, which is like always going to be in the question. Like same with AJ,
Yeah.
the same thing. Caught that one shot, and then I had to do like so many push-ups in the gym because I made lots of gentlemen's bets. But everyone in the gym, they're like, "Oh, who do you reckon, AJ or O'Malley?" I was like, "No,
That's
like
cool.
Sterling all day." And they were like, "No, I'll, like bet you." And I was like, "I'll bet you like 20 push-ups," and I made so many bets. And then
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Maybe you guys could do them bets with each other.
100%. Do you want
Go
to
on.
bet? 50 push-ups to the loser.
But who are you going for?
What fight? Pick one. I'll let you pick the fight.
BSD Poirier.
Okay, Poirier is gonna win.
Okay, I'll go for BSD. How many push-ups?
50. And if
Do
you
I get a handicap for being older?
No.
I am on CBD though, so
You're on
I
CBD.
feel young. Yeah.
I saw that you're doing your commercials and whatnot now.
Commercials.
Yeah, that's
One
good.
take.
It's not a sponsor of the
One
podcast.
take.
so-
I didn't mention the name of the company. If
Yeah.
you want to sponsor the podcast,
Yeah.
hit me
Get
up.
onto it.
BSD. Okay, how many push-ups?
50.
All right.
So you can do 50 per fight. So that's 200.
No, it's just 50.
No?
for that,
Oh,
just that
okay.
one. And you have to post it on your story.
My 50 push-ups.
Yeah.
So on
Your
Instagram, you gotta
50.
say hashtag Kevin Cobhamill, like
Okay.
rent is due, 50 push-ups.
Okay.
I'm
Just
so sorry.
wearing speedos.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you both have to wear speedos,
Sounds
doing
like a
it.
plan.
Alright.
Sounds like a plan.
I've got
What colour are your
speedos.
speedos?
I've got 2 pairs.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
like one's like
Yeah.
I think one's like blue and white, and the other one's.
Well, look,
like
we can instead of putting it on Instagram, we can post it to our OnlyFans.
Oh, you got no fans.
Yeah.
Oh, the Cage
What's
Confessions.
Brown sugar.
Yeah, it's like on Sundays I go to the gym and roll naked with whoever wants to come down, do some rounds. You'd be surprised. how
Usually
many-
by yourself with a dummy.
Yeah, I wouldn't. You've been using them dummies lately? 'Cause
No. I've been in the gym. No. I'll tell you what, I went and had a good feed at the Epicurean after the fight.
Oh, did you?
Aren't you going there soon or something?
No, maybe going to Epicurean.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
have
go
you
to the
been?
Crown, but yeah, I've been before.
I don't nap and I can't afford to eat
It was
out.
banging. Oh, I just did it just one. I was like, after the fight, we'll just go, Ren and I, like, all you can eat buffet. You get 2 hours. Just
Where is it? I don't even know.
at
what
the
it is.
Crown.
Oh, okay.
All you can eat buffet called the Epicurean.
He hasn't got time. He's swimming too much in his pool.
Yeah, legit. No, I was banging though. Hey, it literally went in like, I think I had like 6 plates. 6 plates, 7
really?
plates in total.
Did
yeah.
Ren go?
Yeah,
How many plates do you have?
Probably like, she could have 4 or 5, I reckon.
Oh, right.
Like, yeah.
I struggle like
Get competitive,
two
though.
or 3 plates, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm done.
I get really, I think I did well though. Started off with all the light stuff, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they had like sushi and whatnot there. And then, literally everything. What? Why are you looking at me? Why are you laughing?
Oh.
This is a thrilling.
Yeah.
Bring up the Epicurean.
We're just talking about the UFC fights and then say, just ate 6 plates, mate. Who do you think's going to win out of it, mate? I ate 6 plates.
I'm just following the topic list over here. Just following the topic list.
What's topic list?
Huh?
There's nothing on your phone.
I know, hey. And how long we got left on the?
We're gonna round it up now. I think
Yeah, round
we've
it
covered everything. Again, yeah, we had a few people wanting to ask questions, but we're gonna put them on the next one.
Oh, so we didn't answer any.
Who's on the next podcast?
I think we got Aldin on the next one.
Nice.
If we can get him in. If he
It's my big time, you
is
know.
a busy
My
guy.
big time, you know.
We got a lot. We should have a little bit more news with some stuff happening there, and then yeah, we'll have a few.
And then we got Domination coming up.
Domination
Didn't
coming
even
up.
get to that.
Yeah, we
got
didn't get
guys
to that, but we
fighting
can
on
talk about that next time because it's a couple of weeks away.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of guys on that. Yeah, it's gonna be busy. So bye bye for now.
Thank
See you guys.
you. See ya. Bye.